So today we are looking at a mil-spec AR-15 bolt carrier group. This particular one came out of my long-range AR-15 and I shot about 30 rounds through it. That particular gun is suppressed as well. So suppressed guns usually are a little dirtier than unsuppressed. And this is exactly how I pulled the bolt carrier group out of my upper. And I want you to pay attention to how dry this particular bolt carrier group is. Well, it's a mil-spec steel bolt carrier group, so it's Parkerized, which is a manganese phosphate treatment. Has a very crystalline structure, which means you spray oil on it and wipe it off. It looks like it's bone dry, but there's actually lubrication within the crystalline structure of the manganese phosphate treatment. So even though this is very, very dry, and even some of the critical areas that most of you would probably lubricate, I keep those largely dry and unlubricated. The same is true for the bolt assembly. And we're going to take this thing apart, and I want to show you how it's done. The first thing you want to do is you want to take the retaining pin out, and sometimes you can grab it with your fingernails. I found that just a wooden toothpick works very well. Just push it from the other side and you can see this retaining pin comes right out. So pull this guy out, and then when you turn the bolt carrier group over, your firing pin falls out. At least it should. Sometimes it needs a little persuasion. Here it is. You can see it's a little bit dirty. It is very important to keep these firing pins completely bone dry. Absolutely no lubrication on these firing pins. It just attracts even more of the dust and grime and blowback that you get with a suppressed gun or even an unsuppressed gun. And it can cause malfunctions. So the next thing you want to do, you want to take the cam pin out, which is this guy. You have to turn it 90 degrees. In order to take it out. The firing pin keeps this in position. Since we removed it, we can turn the pin 90 degrees and pull the pin out. It is actually quite dirty. Okay, with the pin removed, now you can just pull out the bolt assembly. And the bolt assembly comes right out. Let's have a closer look here. The bolt assembly has the extractor spring. All these can be removed. I'm not going to go through it right now. There's a pin in here. And also it has these gas rings right here. So this seals against the chamber. And since it's gas blowback operated, the gas blows in here and it unlocks the bolt assembly. So yeah, not much to it. You want to make sure once you have it out, make sure the gas key, this is called the gas key, is completely tight. After you torque it, you can see these indentations. These indentations keep the screws from loosening, but they do come loose occasionally and it causes malfunctions. So if your AR is malfunctioning, AR-15 or AR-10, this is also true for AR-10, make sure your gas key is completely tight. This is completely tight. Yeah, and the assembly is in reverse order. I'm gonna wipe the firing pin off since it's pretty dirty, but that's all I'm going to do to it. Again, I didn't really take this apart to clean. I just want to show you how it's done. Let's get the cam pin. Wipe that off just a little bit. So, pull this up, see a little bit of grime coming off. And that's it. This is usually the gas ring at the front of the gas ring right here. This gets pretty dirty. If you had a cleaning regime and it was your cleaning day for this bolt assembly, you would scrub this very well. And what I use is for all my guns is this Hot Piece number 9 solvent. It has 30% oil in it, and therefore I don't need to apply any additional lubrication for most of my guns. And again, there are some areas of an AR-15 that you could lubricate. I'm going to show you, which areas those are here on this bolt carrier assembly. So this is relatively clean. Of course, you would, brush it with solvent, and sometimes, you have to scrape off some of the carbon on here. But if you really must lubricate it, you would use a small amount. Again, this is Hoppe's number 9 oil. And all you do is you just put a little drop on your finger, very, very minimal, this much. And what I do, you can lubricate the gas ring. This is already way too much lubrication here, by the way. And the other thing you may want to lubricate is on the back side of your bolt carrier group. You know where it slides on the lower receiver here. So, and that's about the extent of lubrication. Assembly is in reverse order. Put the bolt assembly in. You can turn this thing around. It only goes in one way. That's good. So you got to position it to get the cam pin in. See if it fits. In this case, it fits. If it doesn't fit, you just got to rotate it 180 degrees. Now the cam pin, you got to turn 90 degrees. Otherwise, you can't get the firing pin in. Turn this guy 90 degrees, just like so. And this is your firing pin. Again, completely bone dry. Absolutely no lubrication on the firing pin on an AR-15 or AR-10. And feed this guy in. Sometimes here we go. Push it all the way in. It is important because the retaining pin needs to be in between these two shoulders here. Let me show you. Sorry. See this? This retaining pin needs to be in between these two portions of the firing pin so that the firing pin can't fall out. So push the firing pin all the way in. Get your retaining pin, and it should fit right in. Sometimes they are a little stubborn. See, this one goes right in, and you're done. So if you want to insert the bolt carrier group into the upper receiver of your AR, you have to make sure that the bolt assembly is completely extended so that it can engage the corresponding lugs inside the gun. So make sure this is all the way extended. And then you insert it into your AR with the carrying handle. Put the carrying handle in first, and then put the bolt carrier group in it, and you're good to go. All right, see you on the next one.